Battlers, we are back. Welcome to another episode of the Knighted Podcast Roster Review Edition. Roster Review Battlers is all about breaking down the squad and making sure everything is in the right place. Exactly like our mates do at ABC Developments. Whether you're fixing up your home or building something brand new, they will make sure that are absolutely no weak links in your lineup. And the best part, Battlers, it's as easy as ABC. So if you need quality construction work that will not leave you second guessing, make sure you hit up our mates at ABC Developments because they will go above and beyond for you and will not drop the ball. Well, on tonight's episode, Battlers, we will be reviewing and previewing the game. Not reviewing. Why am I saying review? Well, we're reviewing the roster and previewing the upcoming game. The teams that Adam O'Brien and Shane Flanagan have named. Both teams struggling in the 2025 season, plagued by inconsistency, only winning 4 games thus far in the first 12 rounds of the competition. However, both teams coming off massive wins, with the Knights slaying the Panthers at Bathurst and the Dragons bucking the Broncos at Suncorp. So both teams coming into this week full of morale. We'll discuss the name on every single battler's lips. That's right, razor sharp. Razor sharp move back into the halves. That'll be a hot talking point tonight after an absolutely scintillating performance at Bathurst last week. And Matty Croker gets his shot in the number 13 jersey after the lengthy absence of Adam Elliott. We'll be taking a couple of calls on the Knighted Hotline. We'll be taking a look also at your Grain-Fed Brewery lock-it-ins as well as mine and answering your burning questions. So, Battlers, sit back and get ready as we take a look at the Adam O'Briens and outs of this week's upcoming clash against the Dragons. Let's go! All right, well, let's kick it off with our first things first. Now, Battlers, if you didn't know, if you've been hiding under an enormous rock, Gus Gould, yeah, he's sort of dominating the headlines more so than the massive signing of Lockie Galvin. Now, I don't know where you sit on this particular topic. I want you to let me know. Where do you sit? Does it sit well with you, the fact that he can be a football manager and also be a pundit on TV? Now, for me personally, I do not like it. I don't like it. I think it's very misleading. I think it muddies the waters a bit. I certainly think it brings in media integrity, even though those two words together sort of don't make much sense. But, you know, the optics certainly don't look great when you got, you know, a guy that, you know, particularly Bulldog supporters are going to lean on every single word that he says and almost take it as gospel, but then do, you know, a remarkable 180, you know, on this Lockie Galvin situation. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. And someone else, I love Braith Anasta. Love Braith Anasta on 360, but the same thing there too. I found it incredibly awkward when you saw Braith Anasta. Cast your minds back. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. There was a whole Cameron Munster contract saga. And Braith Anasta's his agent. And then you got Kenty sitting there and the two journos speculating about, oh, where's he going to go? And it's like the elephant in the room. There's Braith Anasta just sitting there pretending like he doesn't know the answer to what Cameron Munster is going to inevitably do. It's just weird. Don't like it. I jumped on Chat GDP and I asked it, is there a professional sporting code in the world apart from the NRL that allows this? And it was an unequivocal no. Player agents, football managers absolutely do not provide commentary. They aren't regular pundits or guests on any shows pertaining to their competition or sport that they are involved in. So it's very, very weird.
Christopher said, I think it's a big conflict of interest and he should not be allowed to do it.
It's just weird. It's just, and the other thing is surely we're not that desperate for pundits and talking heads in rugby league that we're going to revert to using fucking player football managers, right? Like, surely there's got to be enough, you know, guys out there you could go and get. I know Gus has got a very long, distinguished career, and you know, whether you like him or not, the guy's forgotten more about rugby league than most of us will certainly ever know. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me.
Mix it. I don't care, just as long as we don't get Timu Cleary.
Mick, I'm assuming you mean Toby Sexton. Oh, well, you let me know. I have had quite a few messages with battlers.
Yeah, he said
wanting
Sexton.
That. Yeah, well, a lot of battlers, mate. I've been getting smashed with the DNs, so people reckon we should go after him. So, but yes, that's right. So let's kick him out. Let's kick him out with Newcastle Mixed Martial Arts Battlers, which is Newcastle Leighton Macquarie's and the Hunter's highest rated martial arts gym with more than 350 5-star Google reviews. Beginners are welcome and encouraged into their safe, inclusive, and most importantly, fun training center. Head coach Jess Landry's experience includes being directly trained by UFC veterans as well as under the wrestling coach of the Sydney Roosters. Newcastle Mixed Martial Arts is centrally located in Cardiff, right beside the Cardiff train station, offering night and day classes for kids, teens, and adults, including Muay Thai kickboxing, gi and no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and mixed martial arts. So, battlers, make sure you go book your free trial by visiting their website at newcastlemma.com.au. All right, battlers, if you can do so, please go like, follow, subscribe all of our content on all social media platforms. And here's a good reason why. If you missed the memo, battlers, that's right. We are doing a giveaway. Not just any old giveaway. I have dug deep and I'm going to give you some of the most desirable Newcastle Knights merchandise you could possibly get your hands on. Something that will take you back to the glory years. So let's kick it off. Now, this is what I'm going to give away to one lucky battler. All right, we're kicking it off. You're going to get your hands on this absolutely sexy 1997 grand final shirt. All right, one of the great all-time rugby league T-shirts, this one. All right. Again, I've got to put the size up. They're roughly around an XL, 2XL size. So I've got you sorted on the sizes.
Show the back, Lincoln.
Show the back. This thing is absolutely pristine. Not a mark on it. I'm telling you, these things have been locked in a vault for like 30 years, battlers. So you're going to get that one. You're going to get the same one I'm wearing right now. This is the other premiership shirt from 1997. You would have seen the boys on the field rocking this one also. Very similar size, about an XL, probably more a 2XL to be honest. Again, real Mickey Mouse. And not only that, battlers, I'm going to chuck in a nice clean skin 1990s 3/4 sleeve Knights jersey in the mix. Look at that. Now, all you need to do, battlers, to get your hands on that merch haul is to first go find our new YouTube channel and go subscribe there. Step 2, you're going to go to our new Spotify channel. You're going to subscribe and follow us there. And the third part, you just got to leave us a big old 5-star review. That is it. How easy is that? Go do that. It'll take you all of 20 seconds to do, and you'll go on the running to go pick that up. You know, you might be down in the dumps and you might feel like the 2025 season's derailed. Well, your boy Linc is looking after you, and you can go rock this merch and you can go think of better times. The glory years of the Newcastle Knights, all right?
Massive haul.
Massive haul. You know, these shirts and that are very much in demand. And, you know, you see some that are a bit worn and tattered and seen better days. I'm telling you now, these are like brand new. They are like absolute brand new. You couldn't get any better condition. But let's say, again, go find our new YouTube channel, go subscribe there, go find us on Spotify, and go follow us there. And then whilst you're on Spotify, leave us a big old 5-star review, and you will go in the running for that merch haul. All right, let's do it, battlers. Let's take a look at the teams that Adam O'Brien and Shane Flanagan have named for our upcoming clash against the Dragons this Friday, 8 p.m. at Jubilee Stadium. I tell you what, the Friday nights, third Friday night in a row. I was so sick and tired of getting these late Sunday games. We've been blessed with some Friday night primetime slots. So very good to see. No Thursday game this week with our girls taking on the Sky Blue girls, hopefully getting the whitewash against the Queenslanders. So the NRL competition kicking off on a Friday night this week. Now, let's do it. Let's take a look at the teams that both coaches have named heading into our round 13 clash at Jubilee Stadium. Just whilst I try and bring up the team list. Sorry, battlers. All right, let's take a look at the outside backs either coach has named. Kicking it off with the Newcastle Knights, Captain Kalen Ponga has been named to return from Origin duties once more. Common away. It has been absolutely crazy. The commentary around the fullback selection at the moment between Razor Sharp and Kalen Ponga, you let me know. You let me know where you sit there. And again, the man on everybody's lips at the moment, Razor Sharp, is back in the number 6 jersey, paired with Tyson Gamble. Tyson Gamble, after a pretty monumental game last week against the Panthers, he'll retain that number 7 jersey. And I will not retain it. Sorry, he'll shift to number 7, playing 6 last week. And Phoenix Crossland at hooker. Moving across to the captain also for the St. George Illawarra Dragons, the big off-season recruit Clint Gutherson will be playing fullback with young Lycan King Tonga at 6. The Nepo baby, Kyle Flanagan, coach's son, Kyle Flanagan at number 7, with Damien Cook rounding out the spine for the Dragons. So now, look, I certainly do not mind whatsoever having Razor Sharp back at 6. I've gone on record on numerous occasions saying I think the future for Razor Sharp as it sits, if Kalen Ponga were to stay, if Kalen Ponga is to stay and he's going to be fullback, I'm absolutely unequivocally going to lock in our boy Razor as our number 7. All right, number 7 for our boy Razor, the triple threat that's going to be Razor, Dill Brown, and KP, who's going to let him cook and let him develop. I don't, because if you're going to play Razor at fullback, where are you going to put Kalen Ponga? We all know what happened last time we tried to put Kalen Ponga in the halves. Didn't end that well. Don't want to go back there. That is absolutely banished from our thoughts at this point, Battlers. I don't want to see any other number on Kalen Ponga whilst he's at the Knights, while he's a Knight, bar number 1. It's got to be number 1 or nothing for Kalen Ponga.
Ben also agrees. He says, keep KP at 1, need his confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
KP gets paid too much not to back up.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sort of flip-flopping on it a little bit, unless he's real ginger and you want to just seriously park the Ferrari in the garage. You know, we do have a very, very good plan B and Razor Sharp should we pull the trigger on that. There's another name in the extended bench, which we will get to later. Don't want to go spoiling that just yet. But, yeah, I like that. I like the fact that we're just going to keep him there, let him develop there. Tyson Gamble rewarded after getting 3 try assists last week, having some beautiful combinations with Dylan Lucas last week. So clearly impressing Adam O'Brien enough to retain that jersey because, the weeks prior to that, yeah, I think it's fair to say Tyson really didn't light the world on fire and certainly didn't, make a strong case to keep his spot in the side. But, we did score a lot of points on that left edge. And if we can keep that combination between him and Dylan Lucas cooking for the rest of the season, well, it's only going to, bode well for us, isn't it? So, for a team that's absolutely desperate to score points, if you've got a lethal little combination there on the left, if we can get that left edge firing once more, particularly in the absence of Greggy Marzu and Brady Best, which we'll touch on in a little bit, I can see why you'd want to keep them there. But look, there is a lot of similarities, though, between the Dragons and the Knights. Looking at them from the outside in, a lot of instability around the halves. I think a lot of Dragon supporters could probably sympathise with us Knight supporters. There's been a little not real flip-flopping, but, they haven't certainly settled on a halves combo. I know the last few weeks they pulled the trigger on this young King Tonga, who, by the way, he backflipped on us too. There was, if you didn't know, now you know. Yeah, he had signed the deal, but the 10-day cooling off period, he got cold feet and he decided to stay with Shane Flanagan's Dragons. So there you go. If you're watching this guy on the weekend, you're going to go, oh, if he has a really good game, it could have been one that got away on us. But yeah, he's now playing 6 with Nepo baby Kyle Flanagan at number 7. Again, Kyle's certainly not lighting the world on fire. I think you'll find, Dragon supporters, like I was saying before, a lot of similarities, very inconsistent performances from the halves. Certainly haven't had really strong performances. So I think a lot of their games, they've lost a lot of close games. And you want to talk about inconsistency with the Dragons. This absolutely epitomizes it for the Dragons battlers. One week they go and beat the Melbourne Storm in Melbourne, beating them 14 points to 8. And then the very next week, when the Eels were absolutely shithouse, they get pipped 23 points to 22. So that pretty much just in that fortnight of football just goes to show where the Dragons are at. and unfortunately, they just lack the ability to sort of close out the close games. They're for and against at the moment. I think it's -11 after only 12 rounds of football. But yeah, they're averaging 12 points. They're averaging 22 points a game and conceding 23. So, I'm predicting that's going to be a relatively close kind of game. Given some of the games that they have lost, they've been very, very close. They've gone down to the wire, so to speak. But yeah, huge. Both captains for both clubs are absolutely monumental for both teams. Clint Gutherson, absolutely unequivocally their spiritual leader, absolutely inspires his teammates through his actions. The wins that they have had, a lot of it will be coming off the back of the morale boosting Clint Gutherson. So Clint's always in the fight for a game. He's not anywhere near as talented. The ceiling isn't anywhere near as high as our boy Kalen Ponga, but there's no faulting Clint Gutherson's effort and determination in football games. And let's hope that I hope he doesn't have a good game. I hope he has an absolute stinker for Queensland, and somehow that puts a rocket up his ass by the time he comes and plays for the Knights. Somehow comes back and he has another really good performance, Kalen Ponga. I don't know why there was a lot of people that certainly thought he didn't have a great game. Who did we lose to again? Fuck, all the losses are fucking becoming a blur. Was it the Eels? Was it the Eels game I'm trying to think of? We tried his absolute guts out.
Yeah, Eels.
It was the Eels game. Yeah, with the absence of some of the boys there, I thought he rolled his sleeves up. I've gone on numerous occasions, spruiking our boy KP's case. So let's hope he comes back. And the team without KP for a week have just had the confidence to learn to win without him. I think that's certainly how I'm feeling. I think surely, the win we had against the Rabbitohs and Magic Round was all well and good, but we did that with Kalen Ponga. So now if we've had this really good win without our Dally M winning superstar captain, who's off on origin duties, the boys can go, shit, we can do this. We can do it. We've got plenty of points in it. Even though I understand, full disclaimer, it's up against a very depleted Panthers team, but you got to take the wins where you can get them, Battlers. You absolutely do. All right, well, let's move to the outside backs that each team has named, with our boy, the Schiller Instinct, and Dane Gagai parked up on that rampant right edge with the young boys, Kyle McCarthy and Fletcher Hunt, named again for his third NRL appearance across to the Dragons. We have Tyrell Sloan and Moses Suley, with Valentine Holmes expected to back up from his origin duties, with Christian Tuipulotu, who returns, unfortunately, back from injury. Now, Battlers, doing my homework, as I always do. Now, the Dragons have the most disproportionate ratio of points scored on an edge in the NRL. You're going, Linc, what on earth does that mean? Well, I'm here to tell you, Battlers, that the Dragons score 55% of their points. 22 tries of 40 scored thus far this season have all been on the left edge of Valentine Holmes and Christian Tuipulotu. So you want to bet that the young fellas, Kyle McCarthy and Fletcher Hunt, are going to have to be absolutely on. They're going to have to be on. With the left edge of the Dragons cooking the way they are, our boys parked on that right edge are going to have to do a good job. Going to have to do a good job there. Hang on. I've got this flipped around. I'm an idiot. Hang on. I'm getting my left and rights mixed up. Hang on. Let's rewind that. Their left edge, our right edge of Dane Gagai and James Schiller. What a dickhead. Oh, my God. Sorry, Battlers. I'm running on next to no sleep at the moment.
He just got home from a mine site.
I'm sorry. I'm getting my lefts and rights mixed up. Well, that makes me feel better, because I'm thinking if that's the most potent side of the Dragons attack and they're going to go up against two debutants, absolutely Shane Flanagan's going to want to exploit that. But no, I feel much better now, because that's Dane Gagai marking up against those boys and Schiller Instinct. So let's hope that nullifies a little bit, because I certainly would have been far more cautious if it had been the other way around. So, but yeah, just an interesting note, the most disproportionate. So of all the teams that score points, on any edge, they've got the most disproportionate. They certainly score a bunch of points down that side. So glad we get to keep the come on Kyle McCarthy and the Fletcher Hunt team back together once more. I thought they did absolutely sensational. Again, for a bunch of guys plugging in the lethal left edge that we know and love with G Train and Brady Best, to have these two young guys slot in and do a job that they've been doing has been absolutely sensational. I think I speak on behalf of all battlers, though, when I want to see some kicks across to our boy Fletcher Hunt. I want to see some kicks to Fletcher Hunt. I know he's going to be marked up against Tyrell Sloan, the leading try scorer for the Dragons, but I think if you get a nice kick across to that boy, I feel like he's going to give himself every chance to score on it. He just attacks that high ball. He's such an aerial threat. So I'm loving what I'm seeing there from him. And Kyle McCarthy, again, doing a great job plugging there last week. He's given me no reason to give me any sort of lack of confidence in his ability there. Let's move along to the forwards for the Newcastle Knights that Adam O'Brien is named, with Tyson Frizzell and Leo Thompson back from gastro. Hopefully he's vomited and shitted out all those germs, the poor bastard, coming out of both ends for old Leo. With Dylan Lucas, who picked up our pay cat 2 points last week, and Kai Pearce-Paul and Matty Croker. Matty Croker at 13 in the absence of the sweet potato. Adam Elliott out with a bicep issue. Moving across to the Dragons, we have Jack DeBellin with David Clemmer, old Clem on the Dragons, with Luciano Leilua coming in. Who did Luciano come in to replace? I had that in my notes. Dylan Egan, that's right. Yeah, they got a real good one there in Dylan Egan, the Dragons. Unfortunately, that young fella's ruled out with a knee injury for the rest of the season. So Luciano comes off the bench and plugs in that spot there with Jaden Sewer in the second row, also with young Hamish Stewart. So we're going to have a real battle on our hands, these young lock forwards with Hamish Stewart and Matty Croker. Looking forward to that one. That would be my matchup if I had to call one. I think that one's going to be a real good one. Again, Matty Croker, I'm just so glad, he's got the 2-year contract extension. Clearly there's confidence that he is going to be the guy moving forward. I think there's all reports at the moment that, Adam Elliott's tenure with the Knights could possibly come to an end. It's certainly sort of all indications pointing that way. I don't know if this injury, if they can get a cut price deal on him now or whatnot, but it would appear that Matty Croker is next in line, and I'm loving it. I feel like the ceiling, particularly the attacking wise, is far higher on Matty Croker, and let's just hope he grabs this opportunity with both hands. Both hands. Our unsung player last year. Again, whenever we sort of drop any sort of quotes or any pertaining to Matty Croker, the players get around it. I feel like the players know how good he is. It's just so many of the battlers don't understand how important and how good a footballer he actually is. So let's hope he's a guy that, like I was saying when Dill Lucas came back for that hamstring, just keeps turning the dial each and every week. Because I think he's about 60 NRL games. So, still very much early into his career. But yeah, it looks like now he's actually playing his preferred position in the lock forward role there. Dill Lucas. Let's hope Dill Lucas, again, with Tyson Gamble being named, let's hope that combo just continues to cook. And my God, if there's any Blues back rows that maybe don't fire a shot on Wednesday night and Dill Lucas puts up another stellar performance, he has another performance like he did last week again, I tell you what, Laurie Daly's eyes might start lingering towards Dill Lucas, and why wouldn't they? So let's hope something cooks there. Kai Pearce-Paul. Let's hope we can finally get some points for Kai. 1 try so far. It is absolutely insane. I know he hasn't featured on any of my lock-it-ins. I've given up on that. But it just seems so unfair that Dylan Lucas is absolutely carving it up on the left, and we still haven't managed to unlock KPP in the same fashion that we have Dylan Lucas. So, I don't know. Let's hope for another big week, because I want the week that Dylan Lucas had. I want that for Kai Pearce-Paul so bad. He deserves it. He's been so good in so many regards. It's just, unfortunately, we just haven't seen it yet. But all right, let's take a...
Before you move on, Lincoln, Daniel says, if we let KPP go to the Tigers, we're kidding ourselves. He's a gun player. We just don't use him properly or support him when he gets a break.
Oh, absolutely. Doesn't it do your head in? How many times do we see like the arm free and it's just no support play, and it's always been really clunky. Whenever you see that link up with Cogs. I've explained it a few times where you see the the ball misses its mark or someone overruns it. I think KP gave him a bathe once because I don't know, it just looks real discombobulated at the moment. It's just nowhere near as slick as when like the left sort of certainly appears to be more. Once when those boys are back from injury, the right's always been super clunky, isn't it? You would have to say if the Newcastle Knights were left or right-handed, they're clearly left-handed because their right hand certainly can't do what the left hand does anywhere near as fluently. But yeah, I'm with you, mate. It'd be a crying shame to let him walk. He's got so much untapped potential, Kai Pearce-Paul. We just got to get a way to, get that attacking football out of him, like we have Dill Lucas. But anyways, all right, let's move along. Where was I up to? Sorry, the interchange bench for the Newcastle Knights, the McDonald's Thick Shake Machine. Jaden Brayley named once more. Jack Hetherington gets the call up with Brodie Jones and Tommy Cant to round out the interchange bench for the Newcastle Knights. For the Dragons, we have Jacob Little, Toby Couchman, Loco, Pacific, Tonga, and Blake Laurie rounding out the interchange bench for the Dragons. A real battle of the 14s here too. Jacob Little absolutely carving up for the Dragons. I think there would be a lot of Dragon supporters that would unequivocally say he was probably their best player last week. Certainly went a long ways towards winning that game against the Broncos. And a lot of them I'm certainly in agreement. I hope he does stay as 14. He hasn't been playing huge minutes, which is a bit of a head scratcher compared to Cookie. I know they've been playing sort of Cook more in a 13 role once Jacob Little comes on, but geez, he's a real point of difference for the Dragons. He's a guy, as soon as he comes on, battlers, if Shane Flanagan doesn't play mind games with us and you see Jacob Little come on, you watch an immediate shift with the Dragons. He definitely moves the needle for them in the right direction as soon as he comes on the field. Jack Hetherington, as I said, recalled, unfortunately for Paul Bryan on his debut, absolutely muffed his shoulder, put it back in and dislocated it. But yeah, he's going to have a little bit of a rehab on his hands, which sucks. It would have been good to see him get a call up once more after a really tough, gritty performance. Unfortunately, succumbing to that injury. So yeah, going with the bigger body once more and Jack Hetherington. Brodie Jones, what more can I say about Brodie? You know what you're going to get. He's just going to match the energy with the guys in front of him. But yeah, certainly no slouch of an interchange bench though for the Dragons. Don't sleep on it. Toby Couchman, another one of these young guys under Shane Flanagan's tutelage, has certainly risen to the occasion. They've got much like our young guys, sort of their development's really sort of expedited for the Dragons. So a lot of these young guys are responding to Shane Flanagan's messages, and he's getting the most out of them. So they've got a really, really good bench compared to some of the other clubs we played. Now moving along to the extended bench, a name there, Connor Vitano named, and we'll take a voice message here. Chris, what do you got, brother?
Hi, Linc, Lou, and fellow battlers. Just my thoughts on the team list for this week. Actually, quite pleased with the team that AOB has selected. Good to see Matty Croker in at lock. It's a good move. Also, leaving Tyson Gamble in the side, which is good, and hopefully Fletcher stays at 6. And even though Pong is named, I'm expecting not to play after Origin, but I'm hopefully seeing that Connor Vitano is on the extended bench. I'd love to see him come in and make his debut for the Knights at fullback. That's my thoughts. Go the Knights.
On you, Chris. Yeah, Connor Vitano on the extended bench. Now, wouldn't this cause all kinds of headaches if there's universal, if this does happen, Kalen Pong is rested, Connor comes in and then Connor absolutely kills it at fullback too. And you just got these 3 absolute stud fullbacks in your roster. And then Adam O'Brien's like, oh my God, what do I do here? What do I do here? Because he has been a guy that's certainly been highly touted, very, very talented football player, Connor Vitano. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when this guy's going to get his first grade call up. And I feel like he's just going to be one of those players that once he's in, it's going to be hard to keep him out. Whether it's on a wing or something like that. Like I keep saying, when these guys make their debut, the Newcastle Knights seem to have a really good have a way of getting these debutants in, and they sort of immediately hit the ground running. I feel all of our debutants, the last handful of them, have been absolutely superb. So I have no doubt if Connor is called upon, if by injury or whatnot, we got to rest KP and Connor's named, it'll be very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. I think there'll be a lot of battlers who want to get around and be very keen to see what Connor can offer this team. But yeah, Jack Cogger, Jermaine McEwen, Matty Arthur, and Elijah Salsay Lamoana also named on the extended bench there. But yeah, I guess Jack Cogger, I don't know what you guys make. I thought, unfortunately, he was a little bit unlucky. Again, it was probably the only thing that pipped it was just that connection that Gamble had with Dill Lucas, really. I think that was the only thing that really was the ultimate deciding factor there. Jack probably played one of his better games for the Knights, again, with the forward pack that was, the old trope, laying down that platform, getting on the back of that. He certainly played well off the back of that. But yeah.
Tony's just said here, reserve grade plays at 5:40 on Friday, so we'll know at 4:40 if Vitano plays.
Good shout, Tony. Yes, good shout, mate. All right, good to know. Good to know. Keep your eyes peeled for that then, battlers. Might be a bit of an insight to know if KP is going to be backing up or not. But yeah, there you go, battlers. Now, did I have anything else in my notes that I really wanted to bring up? Not really. No, that'll think. Actually, one thing I did want to bring up, and we keep talking about the titanium-filled defense of the Newcastle Knights. Now, look, if the Knights can get their attack firing, battlers, we're going to be pretty fucking confident we're going to win this football game, and I'll tell you why. The Dragons have the most missed tackles in the NRL. They rank 17th in the NRL, missing the most tackles in the comp, with only making the 12th most. All right? So they only made the 12th least tackles, but they've missed the most. On the flip side, the Newcastle Knights have had the 5th least in the comp. However, they made the second most, only just behind the Dolphins. So not only are we making a shitload more tackles, we miss far less. So the Dragons are making less and missing a shitload more. So that'd be something absolutely pissing off Shane Flanagan. So if we can get the attack right, we know we can defend quite well. We get that right, and we can, really frustrate this Dragons team, drag them into the mud. I feel like that's our way to victory. Absolutely our way to victory. I know that's sort of Shane Flanagan's style of play. He loves that sort of tough, gritty, defensive type of team. But those stats certainly favoring the titanium-filled defense of the Newcastle Knights battlers. So, as I said, we just got to get that attacking side of the football right. We're willing to do all the tough, gritty, defensive stuff. Again, making the second most tackles in the league and only having the 5th least. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. That's a very, very good percentage. So, let's hope that the game script certainly favors that, battlers. All right. Let's take a look, battlers. It's time for our Lock It In, brought to you by Grain-Fed Brewery. The beer brewed tough, just like your game day calls. Whether you're backing in the boys for a big win or predicting a masterclass from your favorite player, make sure you've got a cold Grain-Fed in hand. Bold flavors, bold predictions. Lock it in with Grain-Fed. So start dropping in your Lock It In predictions, battlers. All right. I've gone with our boy Hunt. I reckon it's game 3, and he's finally going to bag a try. I can just close my eyes, and I can see it right now. A cross-field kick across to an absolutely flying Fletcher Hunt. Grabs the ball, plants it down, lock him in. Dill Lucas. I think Dill Lucas was, what would Dill Lucas be playing at this point? About $1.10. I'm just going to grab it, bugger it. I've locked him in for an anytime try scorer. I've also got the Knights, so 55% possession. I think we're going to win the possession battle with the Dragons. And I've got us for 10 offloads, some of that second phase play for the Newcastle Knights. I've got the Knights to score in the first 10 minutes. First 10 minutes. I locked it in was it 5? Did I lock in 5? I did, didn't I? Locked in the first 5 or 10?
I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, I can't remember.
I'll have to
maybe it was 10. Or maybe it was 5. Shit, I can't remember. Anyways, I got it, whatever it was. I think the Knights are going to punch him right in the face real early. So I've got the Knights locked in to score points first in the first 10 minutes. And I've got us winning both halves. I think it's going to be one of those real tough, gritty kind of a game. Maybe a 16-14 or a 10-12 kind of a game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't know. Something in the gut gut's telling me that that's how it's going to be. But all right, what are the battlers got here for us, Lou? All right, Justin Sharp score 3 tries. I bet you that's still paying about $1 something, mate. Gags to score a double. That'd be nice after an absolute masterclass behind the conversions last week. Nice to have between 75 and 85% completion rate. Knights to have 45 to 50 tackle breaks. Knights win big 13 plus and win both halves. I'll definitely take that, mate. That'll certainly help our for and against. So a big win by the Knights. James Sharp, anytime try scorer. Yep, I think a lot of battlers are going to have that one, pal. Hunt anytime. Yeah, great minds think alike, pal. Knights 55 to 56% possession. The Knights to concede 7 to 8 penalties. Knights little win. Knights win both halves. Yeah, I think I'm with you, James. I feel it's going to be a nice, tight, close game. This one for the rugby league purist. Chris Fletcher Hunt, anytime try scorer. Oh, both wingers. Our boy, the Schiller Instinct, getting some love. He's been left out in the cold a bit. We haven't sort of talked about our boy Schiller Instinct. He's got the Knights to make 40 to 45 tackle breaks. The Dragons to make 9 to 10 errors. Oh, I hope so, mate. That Shane Flanagan will be pulling his hair out. Big win by the Knights of 13 plus, and also to win both halves. Fucking full of confidence, eh? All right, Matthew. Fletcher Hunt, anytime try scorer. Dylan Lucas, anytime. Mate, you just copied mine straight out of the notebook, pal. Nice. Knights to make 371 to 380 tackles. Knights to have 7 to 8 offloads. Knights 1 to 12 underdog. And what was the second part? Knights to score the first try. Yeah, I'm the same, mate. I'm optimistic we're going to start really fast this game, dude. All right, couple more. Adrian, Sharp double or more. Everyone's loving these, 2 or more tries for our boy Razor. KP with 2+ line breaks. Knights 1,500 or more run meters. Knights 85% plus completion. If we can get that completion rate up, I think we completed at 85 last week. We're giving ourselves every shot. Knights 1 to 12. I'm with you, mate. Feel like it's going to be a 1 to 12 kind of affair. All right, was that it? We've got one more. Yes, the Knighted, the leaderboard too. If you didn't catch it, battlers dropped in the Discord channel. So with James having a 14-point haul this week, absolutely killed it, mate, with some of your predictions. You've really rocketed up the leaderboard there, pal. So kudos to you, brother. Very good, very good. All right, let's answer some of your burning questions brought to you by our great mates at Get Out Alive Fire Safety Training. You work in a business, battlers, chances are you probably aren't prepared for fire or emergency. So you contact the fine folks at Get Out Alive, and they'll make sure your staff are trained in all your procedures. They'll have your plans ready, everything. Because if you do not learn, battlers, you will burn. All right, let's kick it off. We've got a voicemail to kick off this week's burning questions by Blake O'Connor.
Hey, battlers. My burning question for the week is, Linc, when is the G train signed to? Because I do not want to see Hunt go back. Mate, fuck me. Going for the ball, running hard. I reckon it's time to move old Greggy boy on. See you later, Mort.
Oh, shit. Already leaving Greggy Marzu out. Well, Greg Marzu, mate, after coming across pre-season of 2023, August, he extended with the club till the end of 26. So he is going to be a free agent very shortly if he does not extend. So we've only got Greg Marzu till the end of next season. But yeah, look, mate, I understand there's a lot of trepidation around Greg Marzu under the high ball. I understand that. But boy, there are so many other things that Greg Marzu brings to this team, and coaches love wingers like that. In the modern game, mate, to have a guy that can break the amount of tackles he does and get you set started, is invaluable. I know he hasn't scored a bunch of tries this year. 2023, he still broke. I know Dom ended up being all-time, but Greg still broke Tamana Tahu's original record. It was only because Dom got a few more than him that he ultimately surpassed Tamana and then some. But Greg also on that left edge was absolutely insane. He's been a victim of that too. Maybe a lot more people would be less pessimistic on Greg if you're scoring a bunch of tries, and that's certainly not Greg's fault. I think it's just a symptom of the Knights' confidence at the moment. But Yeah, don't sleep on it, man. There's a lot of coaches that would love Greg Marzu to start off their sets, and defenses hate marking up against dudes like that. Hate it. But it's going to be interesting because there's going to be a call made very shortly because he's going to be a free agent very soon. So keep a close eye out on that one, pal. All right, what else we got, Lou?
Daniel's asked, what is the benefit of playing Brayley every week? He is terrible and won't be there next year. Play Arthur instead.
Daniel, look, I don't think Brayley's played terribly. He's certainly not lighting the world on fire. I think he's doing a job. I kind of agree on Matty Arthur, but I've said it numerous times. It's only because now you got his father linked to this Perth team. It's like, I don't like our chances of retaining Matty Arthur. As far as developing, I still feel like Brayley's a safer bet. And then pushing Phoenix into that lock role as well. Like, I don't know, I don't mind Brayley. He's certainly not playing to the peak of his powers. But I don't think it's like a huge drop off when Brayley comes out. One thing Brayley I feel like offers more than Phoenix is that little bit of eyes up scooting, where Crossland's more of that hooker, just gives you a real great service, just gets the ball to his halves or wherever he needs to really, really quickly, and obviously tackles his absolute rugby league dick off. But Brayley, he's got those good scoots in him, man. There's been a couple of times where he's caught some lazy defenders and got us a 6 again or a penalty or whatnot. I don't think he's playing too poorly, man. He's certainly. I haven't looked back at Brayley's game and thought he's had any stinkers. But yeah, that's my 2 cents, mate.
Justin's asked, do you think we could turn the G train into a prop? As I feel the amount of yards he gets, he would be effective in the front row and won't have to worry about catching the high balls.
Oh, yes and no. I can understand the thinking because I know there was some. I know they asked a heap of rugby league players who would be a really good NFL player, and a lot of them had the G train, I think, as a running back. I think it was a heap of men said, yeah, that man would make a mad running back. I just think, man, when you're tackling, you'd have to have the motor in him to make the amount of tackles through the middle, and that's just obviously going to wear out his dynamic, powerful running. I don't know. I think he's a really good winger. It's just that high ball stuff. He's just if that's all he needs to fix up, you've got a really, really good winger there. And I've said it before. At the Titans, they had massive defensive issues with not just high ball stuff, but just reading defenses. He was fucking all over the place. He's come leaps and bounds in that regard. But I don't know. I feel like Brian Toto is the absolute specimen of the perfect winger at the moment, and I feel like the closest physical specimen to that is Greg Marzu. We've got nearly a like for like clone of Brian Toto. There's just a couple of things Greggy's got to round out in his game. Still young, he's still got a lot to learn. Hopefully he comes back and absolutely rips in. We all know he's got it in him, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like you'd lose way too much of that big power running game, mate, if he's going to be just tackling all day.
Ben's asked, what prop do you think we go for next year?
Oh, there's the $1 million question, Ben. Well, good little segue. Unfortunately, as we spoke about on the Match Rewind show, Josiah Pahulu from the Titans, the Knights were certainly well and truly in the hunt to get his signature, but ultimately he's decided to go with the Melbourne Storm, which kind of sucks. But Peter O'Sullivan certainly said we're not going to enter a bidding war. We're not going to be paying overs, so it is smart. We're not paying on potential. I don't know, mate. I really don't know who's going to come available. We just have to trust the process. Peter O'Sullivan's got something in the works, pal. When you got guys like, Paul Bryan, again, it was a small sample size, but geez, he's obviously a fucking tough bastard. I can't speak about highly enough of, his efforts on the weekend against the Panthers, but who knows, man. There's put it this way, there's no names jumping off the page. There's not like one big alpha dog guy that's off contract heading into next year. Hopefully it's just maybe I don't know, a swap deal, or someone agitates their way out of a contract and we're in prime position to get their signature. But yeah, I swear we get that question nearly every week, Ben, and I couldn't tell you, pal. We'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Paul's asked Q&A, who else thinks we can make the top 8? Currently 3 points different to get in the 8 with Dragons, Eels, Roosters, Raiders and Storms our next 5 games.
Yeah, people are forgetting how it's not like we're in the rugby league doldrums and we're so far from the 8. It's not funny. We start stringing 2 or 3 games together, we could be back in the 8. It's not that far fetched at all. Like, yeah, let's take a look at the competition ladder real quick. Yeah, the Newcastle and the Dragons sitting 10th at the moment, but they've got the extra 2 points because they've had their 2 buys. So again, like I was saying earlier, the Knights and Dragons both equal on 4 wins, and you'll get some other teams here. Battlers like who else have we got? Like the Dragons, Sea Eagles, Roosters, West Tigers. They've only won 1 more game than us. Like they've only won 1 more game than the Knights so far. Albeit, the Broncos are just sitting at 8th, but a couple of teams slide down a bit and lose a couple of games, and we can, one thing Adam O'Brien has done on numerous occasions is got this team to start going on a winning run. It's certainly something that we haven't, never seen before. We do it all the bloody time. Wish we didn't have to rely on it, but it's comforting to know we have it in us. I think he was alluding to that in one of the press conferences. Is like, we've dug ourselves out of these holes before. So, there's a little silver lining. It's not ideal to put yourself in these positions, but the silver lining is your team can get out of it as well. So you're right, mate. String a couple of wins together, get that confidence flowing. Who knows? If we could seriously be sitting here in a month's time and go, shit, we're in the 8. We're coming, 7th or 8th or whatever. So absolutely, we're not out of touch with it at all.
Chris asked, Linc, are you definitely going to Perth to watch the Dolphins and our boys play?
Unfortunately, mate, no, I can't go to Perth any longer. I won't be going to Perth, mate, but I'll certainly be bunkered down here, mate. You mightn't see me in person, but I'll be on your screens anyways, mate, doing the Night's Watch live stream from here. Unfortunately, yeah, sucks. I'll have to try and get over there next year, pal, but unfortunately, it won't be happening this year.
Andrews asked, any update with the talks with the Knights and Roosters about Dom Young?
Oh, now, Andrew, I was just before coming on air, I was doom scrolling there on TikTok. Now, there was a Matty Johns. Matty Johns said, and he said it with quite a bit of conviction, that the Newcastle Knights will get Dom Young, I think in the next 3 weeks. He reckons it's a done deal after we play the Roosters in 2 weeks' time, whatever it is. The week after, straight after that game, they'll release him and he'll be at the Knights. So in under a month's time, he absolutely believes, he's been told that he'll be at the Knights, and I'm feeling there's going to be something done, because the other good thing too, I hadn't considered was another reason why perhaps we didn't get him any earlier was I don't think the Roosters were counting on the fact that this young center of theirs, Rob Toyer, only playing 10 games. They certainly felt like he was going to be an Origin player, but they didn't think it was going to be certainly this quick or this season. And obviously, if he's going to be, featuring heavily in this Origin campaign, well, that leaves them, short on outside back. So having someone like Dom in the building is going to fill up. They can rejig the back line there and not, and not lose too much. So that probably plays into it a little bit as well. The Origin chat there. So, but yeah, the old adage, mate, where there's smoke, there's fire. I reckon Dom will be at the club before season's end for sure.
Christopher's asked, watching William De Courcy in New South Wales Cup last week play a good game, is there a chance he makes his debut this year? Yeah,
William De Courcy, he's another really good a good name too, getting around. Don't know, mate, with De Courcy. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. I haven't had a chance to watch much Cup games, man. I would love to. You let me know. If you are watching Cup games, shoot me a message. If there's someone I should really keep my eye on, I just don't get enough time, unfortunately, to watch all this football. I'd love to. But yeah, he's the guy that absolutely ironed out that young bloke. Absolutely creamed him. I think it was only last year. I think it was the fullback or the winger or some under a high ball. Absolutely creamed the bloke. But yeah, it seems, as I said before, mate, with these young debutants, there seems to be a really good pathway system in there. These guys are developing really, really well. So, some real green shoots coming through, mate, that could well and truly make their way into first grade and hit the ground running.
Daniel's asked, is the United not on Apple Podcasts anymore?
I've got to get there, mate. Sorry, Daniel. I've got to get around to doing that, pal. It's just been technical issue after technical issue at the moment. I will get around to getting on Apple, mate. If drop me a message if you prefer listening on Apple. I'm just a big Spotify guy. I never use Apple. So sorry if I've neglected you guys. Anyone on Apple, shoot me a message. If you want it dropped on Apple, I'll get around to it. Leave it with me, mate. It's on my to-do list.
All right. Adrian's got a funny one to end it on. Can you think of a song and title replace one word with fucking? Example, Fucking the World by Man of War.
Oh my God.
We've had a few different ones.
Oh, really? What have other people
Joanne
said?
said fucking the best.
Fucking the best.
Instead of simply the best.
Yeah, okay. Geez, that's a fucking random ass question. What's a really good song that I like? Oh God. Geez, you put me on the spot here. Change one word to fucking.
Another one.
Do you know that one of the great songs ever written, "What a Fool Believes" by the Doobies? It might have a bit more emphasis if it said, "What a fool fucking believes." Hey,
Here we go. One from James.
fucking Eclipse of the Heart. Nice one, James. Nice one. Yeah, you come up with the most random questions, Adrian. That's the best I'm gonna have to give you, pal, on short notice. Very good. Is that all the questions for tonight, Lou?
Yep.
Very good, battlers. Well, if you can do so, make sure you go like, follow, subscribe, all the good stuff on all your United content. And again, if you want to go on the running,
There's one. Sorry, Lincoln.
Kung Fu fucking Jesus Christ. Yes, if you want to go on the running for that retro nights merch haul, make sure you go follow us on our new YouTube channel. Go follow us on Spotify and go leave us a big old 5-star review whilst you're there on Spotify. All right. And you will 100% go in the running to win that retro nights merch haul, battlers. Also to keep your eyes peeled. I'll probably, I haven't confirmed it yet, but I'll probably be doing an Origin autopsy, the game one review with a special guest host along with me. I'll have a dirty Queenslander. We'll be probably going live on Thursday and we'll break down that game. Hopefully it's an absolute Blues domination that we get to talk about. So I've just got to sort out some finer details there, but keep your eyes peeled for that one, battlers. We'll be probably doing that as well. But yes, battlers, I'm done. I'm getting the Adam O'Brien out of here. See you guys later.